Well, welcome everyone. My name is Mickey Sperlich, and I am the interim PhD program director here at the University at Buffalo School of Social Work. And would you like to introduce yourself, Tara?
Sure. Hi, I'm Tara Ganschow. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions with the School of Social Work. So as you're working on your application, either for the PhD or dual degree, MSW and PhD program, you can certainly reach out to me with any questions. And that's my email right on the screen, tkegley@buffalo.edu.
We're so happy that you're here tonight and that you're interested in our program. And we will have time for questions. But first, we wanted to just move through and let you know what our agenda is here tonight. We are going to walk through maybe why you might want to pursue a PhD with us and why specifically you might want to come to our school, who we are looking for, a little bit about our program, a little bit about our curriculum and our funding, a little bit about our dual degree program, and a bit more about our curriculum and funding, and then about our prerequisites and the application process. So without further ado, we will start with why a PhD. So typically, people who are wanting to pursue a PhD in social work really have a passion for research. So they might be a clinician who has found something that they're really latched onto, or a student who has just come across something that just really drives them. But there's someone who's curious and questioning, someone who's really methodological, critical, and they really see research as a means of social change. They really want to change the world, right? Or they might see research as a form of service. I know this is really true for me. I didn't wake up one day and say, oh, I really want to be a professor. No, I woke up one day and said, I really want to move the needle on the social issue that I'm really focused on, which is perinatal mental health. So that is really what we're looking for. And I really do think that that is something that you really need to sustain you if you're going to pursue a PhD, because it is actually a lot of work. And you kind of need that to really drive you, right? So I would say that's also very much consistent with the social work values, right? Social change and service are something that is across social issues, across different types of things that social workers do. Those are common themes: social change and service. So that really is, in my mind, a big reason why someone would pursue a PhD in social work. Do you have anything that you would want to add to that, Tara? Someone's thinking about a PhD from your perspective?
Sure. I think, everything you said is right on. Just really having that love of research and wanting to do that for the length of your career. And a lot of people, have questions about the difference between a PhD program and our DSW. We'll get into the format of the program, but PhD is offered only full-time on campus, whereas the DSW program is a part-time online. So that is one difference between our two doctoral programs we offer.
Thank you for that. So in terms of why UB, I think we have some things that might entice you to come to our program. First, we do have competitive funding. I think when you look across programs, we do provide for 4 years of funding. And we do have some very tangible resources available in terms of good research support, We have institutes here that really support the work that we do. Our funding is stable, it is competitive. Those resources, like I said, are very tangible. We have research institutes, we have extra funding for different resources that you might need in terms of, books, travel to conferences, that kind of thing. Really state-of-the-art libraries, really erudite scholars here that are available for mentoring. The program is very interdisciplinary and individualized, both within the faculty and then across the university. And then I would say we also have the culture that we can rely on. So with the culture, it's very small cohorts. It's not a large program. Currently, we have 25 students here, PhD students in total. And so there's really both a lot of autonomy here to kind of carve out your path in terms of what you want to do, but there's also a lot of community. There's really a lot of cohesion, I think, within the program. There's a lot of opportunity for professional development. The seminars are very focused on that, both, of course, helping you become a researcher, become a professional, and really focused on not only doing your research, of course, but also learning about how to be on the job market, how to develop yourself as a professional academic, in terms of being on the job market, promoting yourself, learning how to focus in an interdisciplinary fashion. And there's also a lot of opportunity for very dedicated and diverse types of mentoring, both within the school and across the university. So I think we have a lot going for us here. And we're very proud of that. So in addition to why UB, in terms of those kinds of resources, I think a real strength of our program is the faculty itself. And our faculty are very diverse in terms of they're active researchers. They've got a lot going on. They're accessible. We are growing our faculty. The faculty have grown enormously since I've been here. This is my 11th year on faculty. And the faculty has really grown since I've been here. There's a lot of diversity and experience since I've been, especially since I've come here. We've got folks working on trauma, resilience, and trauma-informed care. And in case you didn't know, that is sort of the signature pedagogy of our faculty, of our school. We're the first school in the nation to really declare the intention of making the entire curriculum trauma-informed with a human rights perspective. And that remains an abiding focus. We have a focus on international immigrant and refugee issues, study housing policies, poverty and development policies, technology and social work, economic inequality and justice, racial disparities, child welfare and juvenile justice, veterans and military families, healthy relationships, and addressing interpersonal violence, to name a few. So we see this as very much a strength of our faculty. And with all of these projects, there are opportunities for PhD students to really plug in. And I personally have co-authored with and involved PhD students in various of my projects. As I mentioned, I'm a perinatal mental health researcher and have really valued the expertise and collaboration with PhD students and see them as just a really vital part of my research, as do other faculty. So I think that is very much a strength of the program. In terms of who we are, So just broadly speaking, to kind of recap a little bit, our program is interdisciplinary in nature. But it's individualized in terms of how you would move through the program, in terms of carving out your pathway through the program. I believe that we are doing research that really matters. Um, and there's opportunities for expansion and enrichment of our program, and you would be a part of making that happen. And our students are really just such an amazing cohort. They're very inquisitive and really integrated in our program and in the community, very self-directed and disciplined. They have a real ethos of serving through their research and are very diverse and ambitious and promising. And I would love to take this opportunity to really highlight one of those amazing students by presenting to you Jennifer Elliott, who is one of our very amazing students. Jen, would you like to come on and introduce yourself? Maybe tell folks what you do and about anything you care to share about the program?
Yes, of course. Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Jennifer Elliott, and I am one of the doctoral students here at the School of Social Work Social Welfare Program. My research interest really encompasses intimate partner violence within the Black community. More specifically, I focus on cultural responsiveness towards Black women survivors of intimate partner violence through the service providers' perspectives. And I am currently also an adjunct here at the University of Buffalo and at Buffalo State University. And let me see, so many great, wonderful things I can say, right? But my experience in the program has been very, I always try to find the great word, very transformative. That's how I like to express it. The program has been amazing in a sense of how we are, again, directed to navigate learning different research methodologies or just gathering the information itself, but then also been allotted so many opportunities to work with the faculty in order to build upon the skill sets that we learn. So it's a lot of development within professional development, but also personal development. And it has been a lot of development on my end and has been making me, I can see the growth being a researcher in other aspects of being a doctoral student in the program. But there's also been other opportunities as far as, presenting research information, opportunities related to conferences and initiatives. So even being part of initiatives that I've developed with a couple of my colleagues here with the support of the program has been great to see. One of those initiatives is Bridge, which is building Black relationships by initiating development, growth, and support, which is really us disseminating the information and the research that we have learned to collect or create within our research projects and the projects that we collaborate with our faculty and staff here. So it has been an amazing journey thus far. I am in my 4th year, so wrapping up, going towards my dissertation. But yeah, collectively it has been honestly a great experience. I can answer more questions towards the end if we have any, but just wanted to give you that brief overview of who I am and how I'm experiencing the program thus far.
And I have to say, for someone like Jen, I feel like a lot of what we do is cheerlead someone like Jen, because she has just been like, just going forward and just creating things and just going out there and doing. And we're just like, what can we do to support you, and just garner resources around you and, just you go, right?
And that's exactly what it's been, providing me with that support, those resources, and a lot of just building upon my leadership, which has been, again, a huge aspect of my great experience within this program. So, and again, always been allotted a lot of opportunities. So yeah, it's a lot of development, again, not just in your research, the research aspect, but it as a whole in my professional development and in my career.
And the other thing I really noticed about you, Jen, is that you seem to really value being embedded in the community and doing research that is really town gown, research that really is embedded and makes a difference in the community. Do you want to say any more about that, about stuff that you've been able to do that really involves the community?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've collaborated with several of the community organizations within the area that do focus on intimate partner violence. We have hosted events at UB's campus where we, especially for events, well, Domestic Violence Awareness Month, it is October. And last year we were able to host an event, which was a community panel where Crisis Services, one of the leading organizations in intimate partner violence within Buffalo area, and ourselves as Bridge, we're able to have a discussion to really educate the community on what's happening in relation to intimate partner violence and healthy relationships. A lot of the research that I do, like you mentioned, is related to community-centered approaches as well as trauma-informed practices, which is really a great alignment, right, with the the social welfare program, because those are really those methods and statements are really connected to the mission. So I like to think that each and every one of us doctoral students, we are really aligned with that mission because we're really, in some aspect or form, is connected to the community, focusing on, again, being culturally responsive, or whether that's being innovative. But yeah, we are really, I am really community-centered approach. And again, it's another one of those factors that the program has really helped me in making those connections within the community. One of my mentors, Dr. Noel Saintville, very, very connected within the community, has brought me along so many projects, grants related, a lot of initiatives connected to our research, because we have overlapping research interests among intimate partner violence. So again, adding to that experience of being really well connected with the community and networking through the faculty and staff and the support and resources here in the program.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing, and I'm sure folks might have more questions for you. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be here.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. I thought maybe people would want to hear more about the program as well in terms of the nuts and bolts. So our program, just to overview it a little bit, it's a minimum of 47 credits. It is full-time, 4-year program. It's on campus, not an online program. It's a fall start only. And the first year is coursework, 3 to 4 per semester. The second year is coursework again, but with a research internship. The third year is comprehensive exams, which involves really a lot of reading and really becoming an expert on your topic area. And the fourth year, of course, is your dissertation work, which is going to be so specific to what you want to research. The required coursework, very specific to our program, the seminars, are going to be the social work scholarship, which is really designed to foster your intellectual and professional development. It's going to be very specific to your emerging scholarship. The social work intervention is going to be focused on what designing interventions would look like. Not that you would necessarily design an intervention for your dissertation, but so that you would have a full understanding of what a full-scale research intervention would look like, whether it across a range of systems. And then social functioning would be basically a multidisciplinary survey of the classic and emerging theories, the complex functions and interrelations of social systems. And then research directions would be more of an advanced application of research across different study of social issues. And hopefully that would give you the foundation necessary to really design and carry out your independent research. And then you would take, other courses, electives and statistics and that sort of thing across the course catalog across the university. the funding for program. We do have, like I said, a competitive starting funding package. You would be guaranteed a graduate assistantship for 4 years. This would be a 10-month appointment, 20 hours a week, a base stipend of 23 grand a year, and full tuition coverage for 4 years, and support in seeking post-guaranteed funding. So if weren't able to graduate within the 4 years, we would help you out in terms of helping with teaching, allowing you to teach in the course catalog, hopefully hooking you up with faculty research projects or external fellowships, grants. We also do have some extra fellowships that might be available depending on your situation, through Schomburg or presidential mechanisms. So again, this is how this would look, in addition to, as I outlined, the curriculum and the standard funding. We also have some additional funding for research and travel funding for each year. And then as you approach that final year where you're actually working on your dissertation, we have some funding available for you specific to your dissertation project as well. We also do have an MPH PhD program. And that has a fall start on campus as well. That's a 5-year full-time program. We have a traditional or advanced standing program. And that involves, it's a 5-year program involving 1 year of MSW courses, and 2nd year of MSW and PhD courses. 3rd year would be PhD courses plus a research internship, and then the 4th year of comps, and then the 5th year of dissertation. With the advanced standing, instead of year 1, then you would take summer bridge courses before beginning year 2. The funding for that, the 1st year would be self-funded, and then proceeding on to the other funding similar to the PhD students. And other than that would look similarly. And I will bounce it over to Tara now to talk with you about the application prereqs, and take it from there, Tara.
Thank you. So we're going to talk about the 2 different programs this evening, either the dual degree MSW PhD as well as the PhD requisite. So starting with MSW PhD, you should have a bachelor's degree in any discipline from an accredited college or university. There is a minimum of 24 liberal arts credits. So there's certain categories we look for on the transcript. These are outlined on our website, so don't feel like you have to take notes, and you can always email a copy of your transcript to our office and we can review it for you to make sure you have those categories. But what we're looking for are 6 credits in social or behavioral sciences, 6 within arts or humanities, and then the last 12 can be those categories as well as natural sciences or math. So again, if you want us to look at your transcript, just send an email to swinfo@buffalo.edu and we can review that for you. Another prerequisite they list is human biology. However, if you have not taken that course yet, you can actually take it during the MSW program. So we do offer it at UB as an online asynchronous course, which is nice. But you can also take it at a cheaper cost at a community college too. So let us know if you have questions on human biology. If you've taken anatomy and physiology, that would fulfill that requirement as well. And then we are looking for an undergraduate GPA of a 3.0 preferred for the dual degree program. If your GPA happens to be a little lower than a 3.0, you can use the personal statement to talk about the grades during your undergraduate study within that and address any D or F grades, or if the overall GPA was lower, use that space to talk about those specific classes, give context, and then also your plan for being successful achieving that 3.0 GPA for the duration of the program there. So to qualify for advanced standing for the MSW portion, you do need to have a bachelor's in social work within the last 6 years from the start date of the program. So if you plan to start fall 2026, you should have graduated with your bachelor's in 2020 at this point. You do need a minimum of a 3.0 in your social work classes. So we'll take an overall GPA just for those particular courses. It has to be a 3.0 minimum. And then a 3.0 overall GPA would be preferred. So that's to qualify for the dual degree. Now, if you already have your MSW degree, you may be eligible for our PhD program. It should be earned from a CSWE accredited institution or the international equivalent. Also, we do look for at least a 3.0 MSW grade point average, and it is preferred to have a 3.0 in your undergraduate study to be eligible for the PhD program. And then, so the applications are open right now. If you haven't started one yet, you can start it tonight. Take a look at the format, and it would be due February 2nd with all of the items that we're about to discuss. So here's the application process. You're going to go on our website is socialwork.buffalo.edu. There's a few places where you can get into our application portal and really just create a username, password. There will be a drop-down box where you're going to select the program you are interested in applying to, whether it's the PhD or the dual degree MSW PhD. If you're not sure which one you qualify for, feel free to reach out to me and we can discuss your academic background. So there's some general academic history forms or fields to complete on that application form, and definitely read instructions as you're working on the application, but you're also going to want to choose 3 recommenders. So for those, it's best to ask faculty or supervisors who know your work in an academic or professional setting. It's recommended if they come from someone who already has a doctoral degree that can speak to your ability to be successful in the program and also your research skills to really emphasize that. As soon as you start the application, you can send out an electronic request to recommenders just to give them plenty of time to provide an evaluation form and a letter of support or a letter of recommendation. Since applications are due in early February, it's best to send out those requests at least a couple months early to give them plenty of time to do so. So, feel free, like I said, either tonight or this coming weekend, start the application, identify the 3 people you want to choose as your recommenders, have that conversation with them about your goals and your love of research, and to really emphasize that within their recommendations. And then good news, the GRE is not required for our application. Even if you submit scores, they will not be reviewed as part of the application, just to be fair to all applicants. Okay. So next we're going to talk about the process. So there's the portal for the application essentially works in 2 parts. You're going to fill out your academic background and all the fields and hit submit. At that point, there's going to be a second portion where you're able to upload documents. So these are all the additional documents you will need to complete the application. Number 1 shows all academic transcripts. So we're looking for unofficial transcripts from both your undergraduate and graduate study, if you're applying to that PhD program. And if the school or university is going to charge you a fee, they want you to pay to receive that transcript, our recommendation would be to have it sent as an official transcript. Once it comes from the student, it's no longer considered official. So we need that institution to send it directly to our Office of Admissions. And that can be done one of two ways, either electronically to our email address, and I'm going to type this in the chat right now, is swinfo@buffalo.edu. That's where you can have them sent it electronically, or to our mailing address in Baldy Hall on North Campus. Either way, I would recommend that. For official transcripts, we will need official transcripts once you're admitted to the program, but with the application, an unofficial is all right. So any questions on that, let us know. Number two, if you haven't updated your resume or CV in a while, you'll want to do that as part of the application. Add that to the documents. Number three is the academic writing sample. So this should be a sole authored academic paper. It could be a research paper. The average writing sample is usually 10 to 15 pages, and it does need to be an APA style. So we want to get a good feel for your academic writing ability. It is a writing heavy program, so we want to make sure we're admitting students that have strong writing skills. Number four would be the research statement. This is an opportunity to tell us more about your research area of interest and why UB would be a good fit for you. I would recommend to go on our website. We do have faculty profiles with the research areas. So it would be a good idea to see, if there's a potential match between our current faculty and what they're researching and your own research area of interest. Excuse me, I've got a little bit of a cold right now, so doing my best. Number five is the DEI and perseverance statement. Please share some examples of how you have overcome obstacles in the past and persevered, as well as your commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives in your life and the research you're planning to do. There are essay prompts on our website to respond to. And then number six lists an optional Schomburg application form. We do want everyone to complete this because it's pretty easy to do so. The essay content would be essentially the same as what you're already writing for item number 5, that DEI perseverance statement. You can literally copy that information and use it for your Schomburg application. So you definitely want to be eligible for some extra money by completing that. And then on the side, there's going to be an additional MSW personal statement if you're applying to the dual degree program. This is a little different than some of the other statements or documents you've already included for the PhD application. This should be specifically why you want to earn the MSW degree and why you want to become a social worker. It is different than the research statement. The guidelines for the questions you should follow are on our website, so please pay attention to those questions. If there's any international applicants, we may require official English proficiency scores from the last 2 years. It really depends on your country of origin and also your academic background if you recently graduated from a U.S. institution. So if you have questions on those details, let us know in admissions. The application fee for the PhD program would be $75. And then if you're applying to the dual degree, it is $100. And just know an interview may be requested as part of the application process. And then we'll talk a little bit about the research statement. And Mickey, if you or Jennifer want to add any more information, here's the basics. So they're looking for a statement approximately 2 to 3 pages in length. Please share an issue that you're really excited about and passionate about. It's your time to shine. Discuss any previous research and or practice experience in this statement. So maybe Mickey or Jennifer can add a little more there.
I mean, well, one thing I would go back to the top of the hour here and just say this is really where your passion for research comes through, the why you want to do this. And as I mentioned, this is really what sustains you. Now, it is true that you might course correct, you might change a little bit from the initial reason you came in, you might refine, you might, your initial research question might change a little bit. But your basic passion for why you want to enter the program should be quite evident in your statement. I think that that's probably the main thing that we're looking for. Jennifer, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, so I was going to mention similar, the best piece of advice I got when applying to the program, which I did apply for the dual program. I know I didn't mention that earlier. So I did apply for the MSW PhD program, and that's how I entered the program until I completed my MSW in 2023. However, the best piece of advice that I did get when it came to the research statement was to be really honest about my passions. That was my opportunity to really show how passionate I am in relation to the topic of interest, which mine was intimate partner violence again, and the connection to the Black community. But taking that opportunity to really sell your passions and in the sense of not trying to hold back, but to really be honest about it and let it flourish within that statement. And then again, like you all mentioned, connecting it to that experience or practice and really making it a cohesive, passionate, but research related statement. So again, what you all mentioned, but be honest about it. So sometimes we hold back. Don't hold back.
That's a great way of putting it, because really we're looking for the promise in you as a researcher, right? Are you going to take pleasure in doing this, or is it going to be a drudgery, right? Because it's not sustaining for you to do this kind of work if it's going to be drudgery, right? And we want to see that you have aptitude for doing this, and that you see the production of new knowledge as a means of changing the world, and that you see that there's opportunity in that. So this little piece of writing has to do a lot of things. So really take time with it, really read it, reread it, make sure there's not any grammar and spelling mistakes in it. Have someone else read it for you, make sure it's other people have had eyes on it, get it proofread, read it aloud to yourself, make sure it really makes sense. That's my best advice for it. Wanna?
Sure, I'll add some more information here about the review process. So all application materials should be submitted by the deadline, which is February 2nd this year, to be considered. We do admit a very small cohort each year, typically between 3 to 5 students each year among the PhD as well as the dual degree program. So it is competitive, and therefore we do not send out decisions before the committee has had a chance to review all applicants. The dual degree students are being reviewed by 2 separate committees. There's going to be an MSW committee as well as a PhD committee. And there's several different outcomes with that scenario. So best case, they're admitted to both and offered a seat in the dual degree program. Another possibility could be is a student is admitted to the MSW program and then put on a wait list for the PhD program. In that case, the student would have a seat in a regular full-time MSW program on campus. We do always have a wait list since it is so competitive. Admissions decisions are usually given a month after the deadline, so you could expect to hear from our office by March. And within the acceptance package, you'll see your faculty advisor and a GA supervisor, which is often the same person. You'll also see any awards that you received, including fellowships. Once we hear back from candidates about accepting their seat in the program, there may be students admitted from that wait list. So if you don't receive a spot for that particular academic year, you would need to reapply for a future term since the wait list does not carry over to a following year. And then the last item here about a recruitment visit for accepted students, we do have a pot of funds dedicated to students admitted to the program to be able to visit our campus in spring, usually around March. There's a PhD poster session held, so it's a great opportunity to see the city of Buffalo, meet the faculty, meet the students. So if you're admitted, we hope to see you on campus, hopefully in the springtime. And for questions after this evening, our contact information is on the screen for our PhD program director, Dr. Mickey Sperlich, and it's MS or M Sperlich at buffalo.edu. And I'm Tara Ganschow, the Assistant Director of Admissions. So any application related questions can go directly to me at tkegley@buffalo.edu, or our general email address for admissions is swinfo@buffalo.edu.